hello. Hello, hello, hello. That's not gonna sound like that. Hold on, wait a minute. Give me just a moment. Just a moment. In time. So, people jump on before I start my story. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for the thumbs up in the air. The emojis, all the things. Let's get some more of those going. Let us do it. I am making myself a caffeinated coffee. I like to specify because, as you guys know, when I don't need the caffeine but I have a taste for coffee, I do decaf. But now I need a little caffeine. I have to change the light bulb up here, and I'm afraid because, and which is also the reason why it's been the same light bulb for like 6 years. I have not had to change it because I try to only, like, I don't leave it on, I just put it on when I need it. But the reason I'm scared is because when I went to change it last time, the entire, like, wiring came out, and it was just, like, hanging. And so, at that time, we had the live-in, like, janitor, helper, maintenance guy, and so I called him, and I was like, hey, help. Same thing happened with this one in the hallway, which is why I don't leave that one on. Why? I don't know. Probably just the age of the building. But it definitely is noticeable when it's you can't use it. I'm like, I flip the switch a few times and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. But I'm like, I'm afraid. I mean, he did like fix it ish to where potentially that wouldn't happen again, but I'm not sure. So I just don't even. I'm like, right now. Oh, and then I looked and I'm like, I'm out of light bulbs. So, maybe twofold. But I still have enough light, like, in my apartment. It's just, like, the main brightest one in my kitchen is no more. I mean, it is. It's just a measuring spoon. So, you guys, I had not just the first, like, time, you know, experience, like, working or, like, in the city, or first time non-failed experience in my entire lifetime of having tried to do this multiple times and it being epically non-successful. Like an epic fail each time. And so I just finally was like, yeah, I'm not the girl who, like, not one of those people who's able to do that. Like, no matter what I do, it's just not me. Like, it just doesn't work out the same way. Now I am, as you guys can see, I need to do a little makeup touch-up, but look at the eyeshadow. I put this on over 24 hours ago. All from Jessica's Spoiled Cosmetics from her Butterfly palette. Look how pigmented and good that looks. Like, the only reason it doesn't is because, well, on here, I did something where I accidentally, like, wiped my eye when something was on my fingertip. But the only reason it's messed up at all is because I slept deeply, which is great. But, pardon the view, because it's, well, I can't hold my phone and touch up my makeup, but also just, like, the muscle stuff. And it just does not sit correctly in that, in my phone holder. Like, it'll sit at the very edge of the table, but then that's very precarious to have it that way. Not so much because if it falls onto the carpeted floor, it's going to break or anything, but, like, if the cord accidentally, like, sweeps something else off with it, then problems, potentially. But I only say that because I just made myself a cup of hot coffee, so yeah, just work with me here. So, maybe I can get it to just, like, prop up a little bit so it's not just the ceiling. Oh, there we go. Okay. So, first time experience. Let me do the stuff and the things that other people do. Pardon me, I am congested. It's just the weather. You know, it's, that's not what I meant to do. That's not what I meant to do either. I'll get to it eventually, what I actually mean to do. Okay, so here's my first time ever in my lifetime experience where this actually worked out and was not an epic fail. So, as I'm sure a lot of just people in general can relate to this, I'm sure a lot of ladies may be able to relate to what I'm saying on some level. So, as many times in my lifetime as I've tried, and I sure even, like, tried harder when I started doing solo road trips. And I was like, I don't know what the deal is. It's just not, it don't work out. It doesn't work out, to put it very mildly. I'm like, unfortunately, you know. So, if you know, you know. But, like, that's a good example to give, I would say. Like, say you're camping, right? And you're doing just the most, like, primitive type of camping, where, you know, really, like, your only bathroom is the woods, right? Well, I have never been one that has been able to just, like, drop trowel and just pee. I have tried. I've tried a few different ways. I've used things to try to help it, like, because the fail that happens for me is that it gets everywhere. Like, no matter how I position myself, my pants, it just gets everywhere. So I'm like, okay. And I've tried this, like, not just in camping, but just so many times. And I'm like, it is not going to work out, but let me try. Never have I not gotten half of, like, my pants just soaked. Like, And I was always like, I don't understand how there's females who are able to do this just so easily, and like, I can't do it for nothing. I'm like, I've gotten, like, I got something off the internet that's supposed to like make it easier, and just all these things. Oh, that's a little too bright right there in my face. So I just was like, well, I guess I'm different. I'm different. But I was just like, well, I guess, it's not something that is going to ever work out for me. And I guess that's okay. I'm like, what can I do? I've tried and tried several times over, different locations, different situations, different ways of trying, and I'm like, this is just never going to be me. Like, I'm never going to be able to. It's just not going to happen. Well, pardon me while I hydrate, which that was definitely part of it. Which I'm not mad at, because I need to continue that, keeping myself hydrated and keeping my electrolytes balanced. So I was definitely super hydrated last night, and I did have water with me in case I had any like muscle cramping issues, like while I was like behind the wheel, but I didn't, thank goodness. Like, nothing like severe, just like very mild. So I didn't even take a sip of water the whole time that I was out, right? So this is just from everything I drank while I was at home, like before I left, and just like the day before and all of that, like really trying to, fix the problem, basically. So at one point I was like, okay, I gotta pee. I'm like, and I was not that far from, there's like 3 places that definitely, no matter what time of night, like, will let me pee. So, and then depending on where I am, there's always the possibility of like running back in here and doing that. So last night I was like, alright, I need to get to like one of these locations. So as I'm like on the way, and I'm not that far, to one of the places that'll let me pee, it like came over me, like, I don't know what it was, like my bladder knew that that's where I was headed, or I'm not sure like how it just did this. I know that definitely like the warmer temperatures, and yeah, it wasn't warm, but it's a lot warmer than in the negatives, and you can feel it, especially being like a Chicago native, like you could definitely feel the difference. Like last night felt like almost, well, in all the layers and clothing I had on, almost like springtime weather, as opposed to these negative temperatures we've had. So in the negative temperatures, it's interesting because your body is so tense, or at least mine, like, if I am not warm, which I try not to use heat, or if I do, just like for the rear view mirror, this is because my eyes teared a little bit because of my allergies. Sorry. I don't mean to get off track. I'm trying to just touch it up a little bit, but I have to do a little more than my plan. Not a ton more, but just a little. So I'm on the way. I'm not far from, where I can pee. And it just came over me like I didn't have a second to spare. And I knew I had been holding it for a bit, but not like an aggressively long time compared to any other time. And I just was like, oh my god, like, it's literally gonna, like, start coming out, like, as I'm, like, in my car driving. So, I swung into an alley, flung open my door, dropped trow, peed, and, like, I held my pants, like, as well as I could. I did not even get one droplet on my pants, shoes, nothing. I was so shocked. I was also at the same time, like, I pulled right into the alley, so I was like, please don't let, like, a police officer drive by, because I did not have time to, like, try to, like, cover myself. Like, it was in between two buildings. Like, I was definitely not, like, just out in the open, but I'm like, it's definitely public indecency, probably, because I didn't have to, like, as soon as, like, I did not have a millisecond to waste. And I just was like, what do I do? Like, and I just swung into the alley, opened the door, and bam. And I was so shocked. Like, I triple checked, and I was like, nothing got on anything, not even my shoes. Which is, I'm like, I'm grateful. But I'm like, I have never been able to do this in life before. Like, why did it work out this time? Like, there's nothing I did differently than other times. I have no clue. But it's funny because I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that, but, like, a very small percentage of me kind of feels proud. It's very weird. And I think that's just the feeling, because I've never been able to do that before, and I've had people be like, oh, just, can't you just, like, walk into the woods, or, like, go, I'm like, no, like, my bladder doesn't, like, whatever the setup is down there, it's not gonna work out. I'm like, no, not a girl who can do that. Like, we're gonna have to go like, if it's, we're gonna have to find an actual restroom. So, I was like, I'm like, and I didn't even try, like, I didn't have time to, like, really, like, do anything other than what I did to, like, make sure that nothing was gonna, like, get on my pants or anything. But I was just like, if it does, it's still better than, like, my whole car or my driver's side of my car being flooded with urine, basically, and then having to go home, clean that up, like, stop working, go home, clean that up. Last night was the first time I used it. Jessica spoiled. Butterfly, 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 padlet. Love it. So, that, like, anybody else, like, can you relate to this? Like, have you been somebody that just, as a female, cannot do this, like, successfully? Or, like, are you somebody who absolutely can? I'm just wondering, because, like, I have no explanation for why it worked out last night and never worked out before. It's like, I have no idea. But the funny thing is like, I was just like, okay, cool, like, we don't have a problem. We don't have to even, like, pause working. Like, fantastic. This is great. Like, I'm not certain that it would happen a second time that way, so I'm definitely not going to, like, press my luck and, like, just, you know. But I just was like, oh, okay, that's a first in my lifetime of, like, decades of, like, having tried this before and it really not working out. So when I got home, my bestie called me, which occasionally he does while he's still at work, and sometimes he does different things at his job. So sometimes he's doing something that's like mindless and he can have his earbuds on, and usually he chooses to listen to music, but he gave me a call. So we were talking about different things, and I shared this with him, and he just kind of chuckled, and he's like, I'm not sure what to say, like, I'm proud of you. And I was like, yeah, I'm like, honestly, like, that's kind of the feeling I had, but, like, it's such a weird, I'm like, I don't know either, like, I'm just glad it worked out, but I'm also at the same time, like, how come it never worked out before? I don't know. But he was just kind of like, well, I'm glad it did. And he's like, I feel like I should say, like, I'm proud of you, but he's like, I don't know. I'm like, it's okay. It's an unusual conversation to have, and I'm probably one of the few people that, like, or at least that I know of, that, like, could never successfully achieve that before. So I was, in the moment, like, both grateful, because I didn't have to, like, pause work, I didn't have a mess to clean up, like, it was just like, okay, this worked out, no pun intended. And, you know, was more grateful, I think, than I was proud, but I also was kind of like, okay, that worked. Even if it hadn't, it was gonna happen no matter what. Like, I was so close to where they would have let me pee, but it just was like, no, we don't have time for this. We're gonna need to, you know, like, right now. And I was like, oh, like, I'm so close. But it's like, I think my bladder maybe, like, knew how close I was, and like I said, it being warmer outside doesn't help, because when it's cold out, I don't have the heat, like, aimed at my legs or my feet, and so that part of my body being tense, you know, it's like I can hold it more or longer. Definitely found that out, like, without a shadow of a doubt, because I have heated seats, so one time I was out and I put my seat warmer on, and at first I only had, like, maybe not even 10% of, like, a feeling of, like, oh, I'm gonna have to pee, like, within an hour or two, kind of thing. So as soon as I put my seat warmer, automatically I was like, I only have minutes, like, I don't have time, because I think it just, when it's warm like that and it relaxes, like, the rest of your body's muscles, it's just, I mean, it makes sense, right? So I'm like, well, I'm not using my seat warmer ever again. It's just not a good thing for me in my life. Like, Lord knows, I already have to pee 1,000 times anyways, and, like, the seat warmer, it's just not good. Good. So, but yeah, can anyone, like, been able to do this since they were, like, you know, a young adult? Because, like, maybe you grew up, I don't know, somewhere different where it was, like, almost part of like your way of life, or has anybody also like tried to do this and had just failure after failure? Just come to terms with like it's just never gonna happen for you. You're not, however it's working down there, it's just you're not one of those people. I just wonder, because I was like, I am grateful. I have no idea how this worked out, but I'm grateful. But I guess I was like, I don't know, I'm like, to say proud, it feels weird, but when I was telling my bestie, it's like, and he said that, I was like, in a sense, I guess I'm sort of proud. I'm like, I guess I'm more proud of the fact that it all worked out well, or something like that. But, like, I didn't really have a choice. Like, my only other option was I would have had to clean up more than just myself. It would have been my whole driver's side of my car. So, like, I didn't really have a choice. Like, that was my only other alternative, right? So, I was like, yeah, I guess proud is not the most wrong word to use in this situation, because I said I did feel a sense of, I was grateful it worked out, but I guess I did feel a little tiny bit proud that I had been able to achieve this after so many times of not being able to. No. Sorry. I'm like, no. So, just sharing, because I know I'm not the only one who has struggled with this, or like there's times where, whatever time in your life, like maybe you've been on a road trip and like it would have been so much easier if you could have just been able to do, something like that, rather than like have to exit the highway and find somewhere and da 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 da. And I still have no clue how it worked out versus so many times where it did. No clue. Like, no clue. But again, I was just grateful. I was just like, well, that's a first, like, in my lifetime thing. Like, so when before my bestie called me, we were messaging each other, and I was like, I had a first in, not just like work or like whatever, but like I had a first in my life non-failed experience last night. ... And he goes, what was it? And so as I'm typing it, he calls me and he's like, I can't wait for you to finish typing. He's like, what was it? And I told him, and that's when he was like, okay. He's like, that's great that it worked out. He's like, I don't know if I should say, like, I'm proud of you. I just laughed, and I'm like, no, like, you don't have to say anything, I'm just sharing. And I'm like, I guess that wouldn't be the most unusual word to use, but I'm like, I don't know, that I just am grateful that it all worked out. But I guess in a sense, I'm like, yeah, I don't know, I'm proud. I don't know. Like, it's just like a weird thing. And I just, how many other, like, ladies out there have, like, tried and failed and just cannot, like, achieve this. Like, I don't think I'm gonna ever be able to achieve that again, like, no matter what the scenario. I think, like, everything just aligned correctly, and, like, but I don't know that that's ever gonna happen again. Regardless, like, I don't know. Because that is not normal for me. But I just wonder how many people can, like, do that no problem. Because, like, for camping and road tripping, like, gosh, it's just such an easier way, you know? I mean, depending on where you're camping, I guess, right? But it's just, it's like, God, it's just, it's an easier way. And I wonder how many ladies have tried and failed many times and just, it's like, this is never going to be something that I'm going to be able to do. Let me grab something really quick before I forget to charge my headlamp. But just kind of like a little, I mean, nothing about what I'm saying is untrue. I'm not exaggerating anything. I'm not lying about anything. I just would say that this was just kind of like partially comical, but also like it brought into my mind even more so. I've questioned it before, and I'm like, man, the amount of people that are able to achieve this, like, what am I doing wrong? Like I said, I purchased something that's supposed to, like, help you be able to do that if you're a female, and it did not. For me, anyways, it didn't. But I was just like, I wonder how many people can relate to what I'm saying, like, one way or the other. Not that I need to have this information, but it just brought to mind, like, So I always wondered, like, what is it that I could never achieve that without a big mess? Like, all the different ways I tried, like, never could do it. And then, without even really trying, because I didn't have time, I just dropped trowel, as they say, and it started to flow. So it was like, it worked out, and I didn't even try that hard because I didn't have the time to, I just did my best in like a millisecond. So I really am like, how did that never work out before? Like, I don't know. It doesn't need, like, I don't need to have that answer, but I was like, okay, like, this isn't the worst. Like, by far, I wasn't like, oh my god, that's insane that this just happened. I was more so just very grateful that happened rather than it happening while I was still sitting in the passenger or the driver's seat of my car, because then, like I said, it would be more of a cleanup than just having to change my clothes, wash myself off kind of thing. But just a little, like, I don't know what you would call it. Like, I wanted to say, like, comic relief, but it's not really funny. But I guess, in a sense, it is. But I just was... I was also like, please don't let any police drive by. Like, even though I was, like, in between two buildings, I was like, oh god, like, just, like, because I had no time to try to, like, hide myself in any way. Like, the best I could do was just, behind my car door, but, like, I had no time to, So, technically, I think it would have been public indecency, although it was Chicago. So, like, Chicago police, like, even if they would have seen it, even if they would have stopped, I don't think that they would have done anything except be like, what are you doing? I don't know. Because it wasn't like I was that exposed, but I was like, thank God. Suburb or something. Like, I just was like, oh my God. So I was like, please, like, I'm like, don't let anybody else see, like, no one was around. I mean, I'm in between two buildings, but I didn't even have time to, like, drive a little bit down through the alley. Like, I pulled right into it, swung open the car door, because, like, I had no time. So, I guess that's just, again, like, how many people can relate, how many people are like, what are you talking about? Like, just wondering, because it just always seemed to be I was one of the only ones, or very few, that could never achieve this, no matter what the conditions, anything. But that is to say that I'm definitely, I've definitely kept up with my just hydration, electrolyte balance. Because with the electrolyte balance, yeah, there's other things that you can do, but part of mine is Gatorade, right? So I'm drinking both water and Gatorade at the same time, like literally, like I'll take a couple gulps of Gatorade, then a couple gulps of water, like when I say at the same time, like at the same time. So I'm like, that's great, like not gonna like already feel like a very slight difference, but I think that is more so from the iron and B12. And if I would guess, I would think it's more so from the iron. As I've had 2 days of it, and I already can start to feel a bit of a difference. But I don't know, it could be just the combination of everything, but I was doing everything else before, except for the iron and the B12. So I was doing B12 like on and off, and I noticed, because I do take a multivitamin, and I looked at it, I knew it didn't have iron in it, because iron messes up my stomach, so I would generally pick one that did not have iron and then just try to get that in my food. But I think when I looked at it, it didn't even have B12, to which I was like, eh. But that's okay. But yeah, I just, like, well, I'm hydrated. And then my bestie goes, too bad it wasn't negative temperatures out. He's like, I wonder if it would have made an icicle, as it was like, and I just started laughing. I was like, I didn't even think about that, but I'm like, I don't know. How fast does it take for that to form into ice? like that probably wouldn't have been good if it happened like as it was still flowing. But I'm like, it's like his brain turned into my brain for like a couple minutes with that comment. It's just like, I don't think so. But I'm like, now I almost want to know. But I told him, I'm like, you being a male, it's, generally easier for, like, maybe you can, like, next time, if we do have any more, like, super negative, like, negative 28 degrees temperatures, you can let me know. Like, I'm not going to be the guinea pig here for that, to answer that question. Like, I feel like for you that would be easier to answer, and also an easier, like, probably easier if it was to make an icicle, actually. So But I was just like, did your brain just turn into mine for a moment? Like, did we just switch brains? What just happened? So, like, that is something that, like, I would say or, like, would have thought of. And I'm like, I didn't. But, like, that is pretty funny. Like, I gotta give you that. Like, that's pretty funny. Didn't even think that. But I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know how long that takes to form into ice versus, like, water, which is mainly what it is. Unless you're super dehydrated or something. But even still, it's water. But I just was like, I don't know. Like, that's funny. I'm like, of all the things to wonder. But I'm like, it is, you know, I get it. I'm sharing this, and it's like, I wonder, you know, would it have turned into an icicle? So, oh, hold on one second. Sure. Okay. So, just thought I would share that kind of like funny, sort of funny, potentially relatable, one way or the other, to some people. Just story from last night. Because it was just, you know, it's like a first in my lifetime thing that was achieved without failure. But even if I had failed, it still would have been better than if I just let it happen, or not like I had control over it, but still would have been better than it happening while I was in the driver's seat of my car, as far as like cleanup and, you know. But I was shocked. Like I said, to the point where I like triple checked myself, and I'm like, no idea how this worked. Like, thank you, God. Somebody is looking out for me up there. But I was like, man, we're so close to one of the places that it would let me come in and pee. I could not even make it there. I'm like, well, that also shows me that I'm on the right path as far as hydration and my electrolytes being balanced and all that stuff. But it's like, and then I still had to pee 2 more times after that. So it's like, yeah, I knew. I foresaw that, because I'm like, there's no way, even if I don't take anything with me, or what I do take with me, even if I don't drink any water, like, I've hydrated so much that I'm at least gonna have to pee twice, depending on like how many hours I'm working, all of that kind of stuff. But I didn't expect the alley thing. But I'm not upset about it. I just am more so like, how did that really happen without any no failure? I don't know. Like, the stars aligned perfectly or something. I have no idea. But, yeah. No idea. But it happened. And afterward, I was just like, okay. Like, that worked out. Like, who would have thunk? Not me. I also wouldn't have thought that just so close to where they would have let me into pee that I would have not been able to hold it until then. But, you know, it is what it is in that respect. And I'm moving, like, I just want us to, like, relate to each other. You know, but, like, in a comical kind of way. But moving on to something else. Oh, this might, you know, but I think the one I use is, oh no, this doesn't come off. Sorry, I'm just talking to myself. So this is a legit contour brush. Okay. What I'm looking for, and through, I guess I should say, is, so I see where people, like, as a, in the realm of putting makeup on, and specifically, I guess, concealer, foundation, like anything that's cream based kind of thing, people have said, like, the sponge is not the best thing because it absorbs a lot of the product, which it does, but I do see people use brushes, and it, like, seems to work out well. But here's my question, if anybody knows the answer. What kind of brush? Like, what is the... I mean, I know this one is a contour one. I'm pretty certain. But even if it's not, I don't think this is the one you would use. It would be a smaller one. I don't even think this is correct. But does anyone know, like, what... I don't know what you would say, what style brush one would try this with? Oh, this has powder on it. I wonder if... Why would I put it back in there with powder on it? Because I usually clean my brushes. I don't think this would... Well, it could. I don't know. But does anyone know, like, what... I don't know what the right word is, but, like, what... I guess style? This one says precision angled contour. But I thought the other one was a contour one. So what does the other one say? This one has... These have names on it. Oh, flat contour. Okay. Different contour brushes do you mean? This was gifted to me like some years and years ago, and I came across it and I was like, oh, let me open that and see what brushes are in there, or what else, you know. I'm like, I could have put something else in it and just kept the original container. So I finally did that when I came across it like a couple months ago. And I was like, oh, fantastic, because I had another eyeshadow brush, and it worked out because the one that I had been using, I had cleaned so many times and was not like the best quality one. I'm thinking, pretty certain, but all the bristles had come off. All but like 3. So it was no longer gonna be, there was no way I was gonna get, you know, I was like, at this point I'll just use a Q-tip. But then I saw it, I was like, I know I have extra brushes. And I was looking through, but then I saw this and I was like, oh, what's in this little cute little thing? Is it what it says, or did I put something different? And so I was able to just pull out another eyeshadow brush, and then I have these 2 in there, which are, they say they're both contour. Like, this is precision contour, and the other one is whatever I just said it was when I read it. But what type of brush, or types, maybe there's more than one, work for, I guess I would ask, like, specifically for, like, your like, under eye concealer? What would be the best type of brush for that? I still do like my sponge. Although, like, when I cleaned it last night, I did see how much, and I've seen it before, like, how much it really does soak up the makeup that you're blending. But, like, right now when I'm going to touch up, I don't want to get it anywhere else other than just a tiny bit under each eye. And so I was thinking maybe try a brush to do it. But then I thought, which one? You know? Which one? I don't know. Like, what type? Like, because this to me looks like it is feasibly the right kind, but also it's labeled as a precision angled contour. But I mean, just because it's labeled one way doesn't mean you have to use it like that. But what do you guys, like, if you use a brush instead of a sponge for makeup, for, like, concealer, or anything cream-based, I guess I should say, like, type of makeup, and that is, like, under-eye concealer or something, what type of brush? Because I am still very much a amateur when it comes to this kind of stuff. Like, truly, the most knowledge I have is from watching people here stream and do their makeup. Like, that's where I've gotten the most, like, information, tips, tricks, like, and I still struggle. It's never gonna be something that I'm able to be like, stop. Like, not at least with the eyeshadow. I'm like, and eyeliner, forget it. It doesn't matter what kind, what form, what not, like, it is just not. I just can't do it. Can't do it unless I set aside like 4 hours just for like eyeliner. Literally. So, just wanted to kind of share that funny story. Funny / like, also like gratitude for a couple different things about that, but all in all, I guess it's more of like a comical story than anything else. Now that it's over and done with, because I definitely didn't feel like laughing at the time. Although I wasn't upset or anything, I just was like, oh god. I didn't have time to feel any type of anything, any emotion, because all I felt was, I need to pee. And it's coming. Whether I'm ready for it to or not, it's happening. I don't know. So, I was so shocked that it actually worked out. Like, never in my life did I think that would be something I could do and not have a big, like, mess to clean up after. And I don't have time for you right now to not cooperate with me. I understand. My thyroid is probably off. I know I have that freaking hand injury. Can we just cooperate with me, please? Sorry, I'm talking to my hands. Sometimes they don't like to be cooperative. My right hand more so than my left because I irrevocably injured it. I think it was 2017. I have the picture. I think I only took one. because I was in so much pain. I was like, and my mom was just putting ice on it and like looking at it, like trying to figure out if I needed stitches, which I didn't, because it wasn't like that type of thing. And then, yeah, what they did do was a cortisone shot, which exacerbated the pain to a level of like, what the like. And then the doctor calls me 7 days later, because he's like, come back in 7 days, and goes, do you want to come in for your... And I said, how's never again? I said, I don't know, it don't work the same way it does for other people, apparently. Like, it exacerbated the pain, and it's just been increased pain for the past, since I got it. And like, if that is the only thing that can be done, we're not doing that. I'm like, it's not helpful. It exacerbates the pain. I'm like, I'm not going to try this, like, multiple times in a row. Like, it really freaking hurt. I'm like, it already was hurting, but, like, it made it hurt so much more. So it's just, I'm like, no, how's never again for you. He was just like, oh, wow, like, that's not the usual. I'm like, yeah, no, I understand, like, I work in the medical field, like, I know it does help a lot of people for a lot of different things, a lot of different areas, but I'm like, it just, did not help me. I can say that conclusively. I wish it did, like, obviously, but I'm like, no, sir, did not, made it way worse. And then I want to say, I think he even tried to say, like, well, maybe this, the second one, it would be different. I was like, I'm not willing to find out, because if it's not different, it increases the pain a lot. And then I'm here sitting in excruciating pain. I'm like, unless you want to give me pain medication, we're not doing this again. Like, no. But I know he was just only trying to help, because there was nothing else that could be done. Like, I didn't like tear a ligament or do anything like that, or a tendon, which is shocking, because like, now when they really, like, and it's both hands though, so I think it is partially my thyroid as well, but when it really doesn't want to cooperate with me, it swells up. And sometimes it can swell up really badly to like where the rings that fit me, even with some breathing room, will be super tight, and I'll have to like take them off, because they're like literally like hurting, because they're so tight, because my hands are so swollen. So, and it's the left hand usually goes along with it, so I'm like, I think it's my thyroid as well, but like the right hand's worse, and I think that's just because of that injury. So good times, but all things that are just part of life, and in the grand scheme of things, like, as long as, I have enough function, it could be worse. So, really, I'm debating on whether I should, because I just am going to put the tiniest bit more concealer to touch up. So, I guess I'll try the brush and see. We'll just see. I keep sniffling. I should use my inhaler. It's right in front of me. Good old adult onset seasonal allergies. Like, when she said that to me, I was like, pardon? I don't have allergies. like, what is this adult onset stuff? I'm like, there's already enough things that come with getting older. I'm like, I didn't know that there were additional little things as well. I'm like, what? How about adult onset, calmness, peace of mind, and adult onset, like, once you get to age, we'll say 45, because I have a year till I'm 45, you get a government payout of a certain amount of money because you've survived this long. So, like, none of those things exist. Like, adult onset, like, blissfulness that lasts for a decade or more. Or it's always something you have to medicate or something, another thing. But it's never adult onset, just over the moon happiness that's going to last you for the rest of your life. No matter what happens. Like, why does it always have to be like a negative or like semi-negative thing? Like, why can't it ever be something like that? You know, like, but I guess it's just not the way things work. I don't know who all was part of that decision process, but I'll accept this diagnosis. And it's held true. She was not wrong. But yeah, like, it's interesting, like, it's, nighttime is still pretty cold. We're not in negative temperatures, but it's still pretty darn cold, especially, you know, the winter, especially the winter, especially the windier it is. Wind chill factor, you know, makes the real feel less than what the actual temperature is. But it was like, it just, like, I think I saw, like, later next week we're gonna be at like 45 degrees. I'm like, So I think today we got up to like 30 something, and then it's gonna drop to like 11 degrees in like the wee hours of the early morning, with a real feel of probably colder, but just like all of that kind of stuff just messes with my adult onset seasonal allergy. I will not just say allergies, because that would imply that I've had them my whole life, and I have not. It's not really something that I need to be so, like, you know, like, but I'm just, like, I never had allergies. What are you talking about? Like, I have pine trees in front of my house. Like, I've never been allergic to any, like, outdoor anything. What do you mean? No. She's like, yeah, well, that was then. This is now. Okay, point taken. Like, point taken. But, yeah. So, just wanted to share. Sharing is caring. And like I said, I'm sure some of us can relate one way or another. Or just have a little chuckle. I don't know. But I thought, why the heck not? I've got a few moments to spare. You know? Just that kind of thing. See those emojis fly. Hello to everyone. I don't see any comments. I don't always know if there's actually no comments or if it's my Wi-Fi. I've had both happen, so I'm not always sure. In the replay I can tell, but... So that's just to say, as I've said before, if there are comments, I'm not ignoring you, I just can't see them. Like, may be able to see them right away in the replay, but right now I'm not seeing them, so. I feel like the brush in here that's the bigger one for contour is better than what I'm using now. But at the same, I'm not going to redo my contour, not that there is a whole lot of it, but like at the same time what I'm using now is kind of working. But maybe I'll just keep this with my others, like makeup that I use regularly. I say that with air quotes because, yeah. I don't think I've ever put makeup on this consistently in my life. Like, I would do mascara all the time, but like just mascara. But like everything else, almost never. With this consistency and frequency, but I'm not mad at it. And it was a personal choice also. It's not like anybody is forcing it. Although I do feel like it makes a difference. Oh, okay. Sorry. We didn't need to have that happen. But I do feel like it makes, like, it makes me feel better. So, Frankie, I just told you I told you yesterday. My friend from growing up. Like, I can't even just say, like, back in the day, like, I've known him as God since I was, like, 12, 13, 12, 11, somewhere. He lived in the neighborhood. He wasn't one of the first people I met, but he definitely, like, yeah. But we kind of reconnected. Not that we ever had a falling out, but we just kind of lost touch. We reconnected, like, a month or so ago. So, and he wants me to come visit him. He's not that far, and I know exactly where he's at because he's at the first of our friends that was able to have their own place. That place still exists, and that's now where he lives. But that's where we all used to go, because it was the very first out of all of us that was able to have their own place. So it was like, oh, like, there's no adult supervision. There's that. I mean, I know he was over 18, and I don't know if at the time he was over 21 when he got it. I'm not sure. But it was just, I'm very familiar with it, because that's where we all went to. It was not a huge place. It's still not. Nothing has changed. But we'd be packed in there, because it was like, at least there's no adults. Like, you know, it's like, finally there's a place where there's no adult supervision. But we never really did anything, like, worse or that bad or more so than we would have done with adult supervision. But it was just the feeling of, like, we finally are free, like, somebody has their own place. be like minimum like 20 of us in there at a time, like. But his schedule is different than mine. He works from home, and then my schedule is different because of, like, just my life. But I think he just forgot what I already said last night. But I definitely will be going there to, like, visit. I don't know. We don't have anything planned, and right now I don't have I guess you would say I don't yet have the time to really plan anything, even if it's, like weeks from now. But it also is just be spur of the moment type of thing. Because I was close by one night, and I'm like, hey, I'm like half a mile away. What do you, like, I know you're awake. And then it got busy again for me. So, because it looked like it was going to be the end of the night, because it just slowed to a complete stop for some time. And I realized I wasn't that far, and I looked it up, and I was like, oh, I'm half a mile away. And then, boom, I got busy again. We never put anything, like, nothing at that moment was putting, like, did he expect that I was going to stop over or anything like that? We hadn't gotten that far until before it got busy again. So, I'm like, it'll happen. It'll happen. But I'm not, like, it's not a huge priority, because I'm like, I've got other things that I've got to do and take care of, so, like, if it works out one time spontaneously, fine, but other than that, I'm gonna have to wait a little bit. So, and then also, I know, ultimately, he would like me, I mean, he's going to pay for it, but he would like me to bring him food from this place that's right by me, and there's no, like, I would have to, there's no way I could keep it in my car, and it would stay good, for hours and hours. Like, I'd have to go straight to him, which I don't mind, but I'm like, ultimately, I know that you want, you'd like that as well, because he's not had it in so long, and I don't know if he purposely stopped driving, or if he just doesn't have a vehicle right now, which is so unlike him, but whatever the case, he's just not had it in, like, I don't know, he said years and years, and I'm like, what? That's crazy. And the one night, I was like, well, I guess it's okay that it didn't work out. I'm like, it got busy afterward, after I, like, that text I sent you, and I'm like, ultimately, I know that you want, what he wants is Johnny's beef, and I'm like, that obviously was closed at this time, and, like, even though I wasn't near it, like, regardless, even if I would have driven back over here for it, like, it's closed. So, but he replied to me, he goes, just your company would have been enough. And I'm like, huh? Did my brain just read that correctly? Because he wasn't being sarcastic, he was being honest. And I was like, other than my mom, I don't remember the last time anybody has actually said that and or felt it. Really? Like, so I just replied, like, that's very sweet of you. Like, but, like, ultimately, if I can bring you Johnny, it's like, I will, because I know that's what you want. But I'm like, it's good to know that I can just stop over without, just me, myself, and I, and that'd be fine. Because I'm like, at that time of night, it's just not open. And then they don't open until, like, early afternoon, so they don't even open, like, in the morning time or late morning. So, it's like... And they're one of the few places, because there are still a few here, and it's places like that that, like, they need no advertising, they need no extra, like, they're busy enough as it is. They are not on any, like, you cannot order for delivery from it anywhere. So, like, he does not have that option. So, but anyways, sorry, got off on a tangent there. I'm gonna do, I think, just, what time is it? First, it's got time. I think I'm gonna try the concealer touch-up. I'm just putting a tiny bit to touch up, but with the brush, and see how that works. And again, somebody out there, please let me know. Like, if this brush works, fine, but I do want to know, like, what, I mean, maybe there's one that, like this one, where it's just labeled concealer brush. I don't know. But this one is labeled Precision Angled Contour. So what type of brush for creamy, like, makeup stuff would you guys recommend, or do you use that works? Maybe it's even this, I don't know. You know, I don't think it necessarily has to be the correct brush for the correct thing, as long as what you're using works for you. But what I'm like, I don't even know what brush. I have no idea. What brush would I use? I'm just wondering out loud, you know. I'm not, like, gonna go purchase a different brush or anything, but I just wonder. Because I might have it, I think I have some extra brushes in another place, I believe. So I might already have a, like, proper one, if you will. But we're going to see how this one works out. So, I think this is... Okay, that's... Sorry. Oh my god. I was about to say, I think this is a little bit better, and then it's all you can't even see. Okay. I'm just not gonna try that hard because my muscle thing, you know, that's all still going on, and it's getting better, it seems like the additional stuff that I'm doing, so I don't want to upset it, if you will. It's definitely last night, there was a time or two where it was a little tricky in that respect, but I got through it. So it seems like all in all it is it's the addition of these things and the realization of, like, I am dehydrated, my electrolytes are off balance, like, I'm a hop, skip, and a step away from the emergency room. And not just that, but being hospitalized. So, really think it's... If I had to guess, I think it's the iron more than the B12. But I don't know. So, then I've also gotta get myself some magnesium, but I may, because I know that it be on my extra help, so I may just have to wait till March 1st for that, which is okay. I have vitamin D, I have a multivitamin, B12, iron, and then other vitamins that I'm forgetting right now. So, and I think I do have a bottle of magnesium, but I'm like 99.9% sure it's probably expired. So, there's that. But that's okay if I have to wait. At least I was able to find, and it was buy one, get one free. The iron and the B12. And, I mean, it was still more than what I, like, really have to pay for. Like, why do things keep popping up that I have to pay for? You know, like, new things and stuff like this. And it's like, everything was, like, minimum, like, $10.99, pardon, for, like, one bottle of anything. And I'm like, what are these prices? Like, I remember when you can get iron pills for, like, it was, like, $3. So I finally found, I think one was $9.99 and the other one was $7.99. They were buy one, get one free. So I got 2 bottles of each. So I still, you know, at the moment in time, I was like, don't want to pay this. But I'm like, it makes it a little better than I'm getting buy one, get one free. And I, of course, had, like, 24 hours prior already placed my healthcare extra help order. So, because that would have been on there, but well, I already placed the order and I can't change it because it already shipped out. They ship it out real quick, which that's nice. Like, they do not take their time. They ship it out real quick, and like the longest it takes to get here is like 3 days. Maybe if we're having some unusual weather, it might take like 5 days at the most, but it's pretty darn quick, which I appreciate, and I think everybody who you know, utilizes that help appreciates how quick they are. But I will say, the one thing that I needed to use, like, literally right away, and when I say right away, as I was getting ready yesterday evening, I just threw on clothes so that I could go downstairs, get the box, and come up here and get out what I needed to use right away, which is, they actually put on there my brand of deodorant, and I was like, ugh. So I ordered 4. So I'm unpacking the box. Everything I ordered is in there except for the deodorant. Now, mind you, I have nothing left of. And I was literally waiting, like, I saw the ship, like, when it was going to be delivered, and I'm like, perfect timing. Because I'm like, I refuse to purchase anything that's covered on that list. So, but I was like thrilled when they put my deodorant on, and I'm like, oh, this is fantastic. Only thing missing. So now I've got to contact them. And I've never, like, I've had 2 different times where things were damaged, but I never even said anything to them about that, because I was like, things happen, like, I just, you know, I'm like, it could be worse, things happen, I'll just give it grace, I don't want to, you know, didn't necessarily want to take the time to, like, complain. I'm like, you know, but I'm like this, I'm like, I really needed that, and like, it did not come, and like, I refused to purchase anything, like, so hopefully I can contact them, and I'm like, I don't know, how do you prove that it did not arrive though? It's like, unless I'm like videotaping myself unboxing it, like, from jump, like, there's no way to prove it. really. Like, you know what I mean? Like, how do you... I don't know. So we'll see what happens. But I'm just like, they better send a replacement. But I was like, okay, what do we do? I have no idea. So I was like, what are the chances that I might have one lingering, like, in the back of my linen closet? I found one. I think it's from, like, 1992. No joke, no exaggeration. It's the brand I use, but not the kind I use. And I'm pretty sure, like, it had to be one of these things, like, that my mom gave me at some point, because, like, she ordered the wrong thing, because it's the brand she uses, but not the kind like, the specific kind, just like me. So, when I opened the cap, it was, like, crystallized on top. So, this just shows, like, it's as old as I know it is. So, like, it should be crystallized. Like, it's completely sealed, like, never been used. I'm like, okay. Like, and I used it, and it worked. It just was not the... I don't know, whatever's... Because it's scented. And whatever scent it's supposed to be, it definitely was not that. It was just... It wasn't, like, a horrible smell, but it just was, like, plain, I guess you would say. So... this is what we're doing. Because I refuse to purchase what I can get for free. And I thought, even if I have to rock with this and they can't send a replacement, I'll rock with it until March. And I can order again. And hopefully they do the same thing as this time. And I don't know how that happens. Because it's on the... Like, it's on the itemized, like, kind of receipt that they give you. That it was sent. Like, that it was put in this box. So I don't know how the, you know... But with the quickness that they do everything... Because they don't really package things well. They just kind of throw some, like, bubble... wrap stuff in there and then just throw everything else in there. Like, they don't protect any individual item that, like, could be, like, dented or, like, have spillage or anything like that. So it could just be, like, the quickness at which they do things that was just, you know, accidentally missed. I don't know. I don't know how they... you know, what their process is of getting all of this together. So, we're going to see if a brush with concealer will... Oh, okay. Now, the reason I'm trying the brush is not so much because I'm so concerned with, like, how much gets absorbed by the sponge, but more so that I just wanted to keep it just where I want to touch up the concealer and not have it go anywhere else. So the sponge I have is a little bigger than, like, what this brush would do, right? So that was my, like, just thought process. And I think it's working out. I mean, I'm still blending, but I think it's working out. Now, I would say, like, for me to use a brush always, I feel like would be more time consuming, potentially. I don't know. Or I just maybe used a little too much concealer. So all you need is a little bit of that. And it looked like it was just a little bit, but it was probably more than just a little bit. My arm is starting to do the muscle spasm thing. Yeah, like for me, I mean, it works in the sense of like you can keep it like more in the area that you want, I guess. And then it could also just be a personal thing of like, I am very much an amateur when it comes to putting on makeup. But it also like just takes longer to blend it. My body is like, what are you doing? Like, why aren't you still laying down? Well, body, it's because I have things to do. A funny thing that I always used to say, just because I knew, like, the first time I thought of it, I was like, oh, this will get a chuckle. And then I would continue to say it, but sometimes, like, when I was still living with my parents, my mom would be like, oh, what are your plans, or where are you going, or something, or whatever, just, like, not trying to be like, where are you going, and what time are you going to be back, but just, like maybe as I'm putting my makeup on or something like that. And I'd be like, well, as usual, like, I've got people to do and things to see. And she, like, it took her a second, and she's like, yeah. I would say that a few times, because I'm like, I felt like that was funny. It was not, like, the truth of anything. So I just feel like that's a funny, reply. She was like, oh my god. It's a girl. So, no phone numbers, or I'm gonna have to block you. Thank you for being the only person that commented, though, that I can see anyways. But that's okay. I'm like what I was trying to be convinced of. It doesn't bother me if there's no comments. Or if all there is negative comments. It doesn't actually bother me. Okay, but you stop putting your phone number or I will block you. No one needs that. No, thank you. No, thanks. No, thanks. Thanks for the love. Well, let's get some emojis up there. Emojis. Forget to sprinkle the love. Sprinkle, share, like, repeat, replay. All of the things. Okay, I mean, I can see the, like, where I've done it. I mean, to blend this side a bit more. But it works out. Just takes longer. So, in the grand scheme of things, I don't know. if I would do it all the time, we'll see. I don't know. Even though it says precision angled contour, this particular brush by, I'm not even sure what brand, Lamora. Yeah, no clue if they're still a company that exists, but their precision angled contour brush seems to be good for under eye concealer blending. So that's what I was saying, like, this might work, but I'm just wondering what is because they're one that says like concealer brush, like not even just this brand, but like in general, or is there like a preferred brush to do this with, or is it just basically like whatever works best for you is what's preferred, like, I don't know. I don't have the answers to these questions. I am not a professional. I'm barely even like an amateur, really, when it comes down to it. But it's like I just follow what I've seen like professionals do on here and try to, try to have it look even a little bit decent. So definitely, like, I can see that, the delineation. Thank you for the love. Yeah, it's just, well, it also, like I said, I could have just used too much concealer, which is possible. So as much as I know, like, you only need a little bit of this one, and I only try to put a little bit. It's like I always seem to put too much still, though. So that's okay. That is A-okay. Pimple that's there. Oh, my back is like, what are you doing? Who do you think you are? My back, my neck, and my shoulders. They're like, who do you think you are right now? We are not ready for all of this. Yeah, I feel you. I don't have time. I don't have time. Don't have a problem. That's as good as, like, the blending is gonna get. And you just have to touch up my blush so that, there's not such the noticeable difference. Take that away. Part of me. I feel like I'm super duper. My body physically feels like it's a lot older than it is. Not all the time. lately. And right now, definitely. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What do you think you're doing, honey? I'm just trying to do the things I need to do. Not even anything extra. Just the things I need to do. Break that out a little bit, so it's not such like a difference. Really need my powdered blush though. This stick is okay, but that back in my eye. I feel like that makes, well, it's a little bit of a difference. Not too much. As far as like not seeing that concealer is not blended as well as we like it to be. That's really nice though. I wish I knew how to like do all of these things appropriately and like quickly. So it's just like I don't think it's supposed to take this long time. In fact, I'm sure it's not. But it's okay. It is what it is. This one is like drastically noticeable. You're gonna have to blend ya. Blend ya in. So like with the amount of, well, blending that I'm doing, or like just back and forth, I'm just like pushing it, the brush, I'm not like sweeping it. I don't know necessarily that it's picking up any less of the product than a sponge would. I don't know though. I mean, I think some people have really like tested it out to see if there is a difference or if there isn't, or like how much of a difference. And I've seen some people switch to they just use a brush. So I'm like, clearly there's a difference, I guess. I'm like, I don't know if everyone is on the same page. I still like see people using sponges. I do think it's it seems like the easier way. Like when you're doing more coverage than, you know, what I'm doing right now, especially. But I don't know the answers to everything. And we'll just do this might help as well. A little highlighter. And just call it a day with the makeup touch-up, if you will. Like for this, I'm usually using a brush as well, but I've also just used like my finger. Get it there. Well, it's okay now. I'm gonna have to do the other. It helps that it's dark out. It's not as noticeable, like the mistakes that I make. It is in the light, but like it's not as noticeable in like dim lighting or like the darkness of the night. We can be grateful for that. I should say, be grateful for that. I'm running out of this too. I already ran out of the other one that I used. Good with that. Well, I hope everybody has a good Friday night. Happy Friday. For those, not everybody's quote-unquote Friday is on the same day. Or not, I should say more appropriately, not everybody's weekend starts on Friday, if you will, work-wise. But either way, I hope it's a good night, whatever it is that you might be doing, even if you're just relaxing. I hope it's nice, calm, and peaceful. All the things. Peace of mind is everything. It really is. Just remember, you know who you are. Your feelings are valid. You're allowed to have all different types of feelings and express them and all of this. And it doesn't mean that you're schizophrenic or you have multiple personalities or anything like that. You're just simply expressing your feelings about something. And sometimes you're angry. Sometimes you're sad. Sometimes you're overly happy. But that doesn't mean that you have an emotional or mental disorder. Just speaking from my own recent experience with that, and with really trying to, I felt like I was being, physically, punched in the brain. And, yeah, it did, as much as, I knew there was nothing else going on. It's been decades of this. But it did make me question. And it did make me not go with my gut on certain things. So, just to say, Your feelings are valid. You can express them. It doesn't mean you're having a breakdown. It doesn't mean you're anything else but just expressing how you feel at the moment. Whether it be, maybe you're not handling it the best that people think that you should. But that doesn't mean that you're doing anything else or having any other type of problem other than what's actually just going on at that time. And you're having an emotional reaction. Like we all do. That was definitely something that was always told to me and my mom by, I'll let you guess who. You're too emotional, you're too emotional, you're too emotional. Just pounded into my head. And I never really felt any type of way about it because I always said, well, I would rather be emotional than have no emotions at all. So I'm like, I don't know what overly emotional is. I'm like, anytime like you see a tear for any reason from either of us, you're like overly emotional. It's like, okay, that's your opinion, not a doctor. And I've never been told by any of my doctors that I'm overly emotional, so I don't know. But it's just like, yeah. I am not going down the same path that I've been down my entire life. I'm not going to continue to go down the same road. Like this, I have control over. But other things in life, as we all know, we don't. Notice that my eyebrow could use a little touch-up, but this was the one that was not cooperating with me last night. If you will. But we can maybe do a little... Oh no. How do they say that? Well, if I hadn't plucked them to high heaven back when it was a thing to have just really skinny eyebrows, I would not have this problem now. But that was just, and I thought it looked, I still don't think it is a bad look. Quite honestly. I mean, I know it's not the trend or whatever these days, but I never went by trends. I just did what I thought looked the best for me. It's like, if it falls in with the trend, it does. If it doesn't, I don't really care. But I don't think it looked that bad. Like, I look back and I'm like, yeah, I see how thin they were. Like, I get it. But, like, also, at the same time, I don't think it looked horrible. So, I don't know. But this one's going to continue to give me issues because there's makeup under it. Or other makeup, like, just, you know what I mean. But that seemed to touch it up a little bit, just right there, kind of. But that we don't need to do anymore. Because my body is like, what? Ma'am, what do you think you're doing? How do you think you have the, whatever it may be for this? So, that's about it for right now. I'm gonna jump off and... What time is it? Oh yeah. Continue to do my stuff and things. Definitely won't be working. Be working on like trying to like find more than just one excuse to not work, but other than that, that's all about all the work I'll be doing tonight. So, but I hope everybody has a good Friday night, or whatever it might be for you. If you are watching this on hashtag replay, which you'll know if the live red box is not in your upper left hand corner, or if it's there and grayed out, then it's hashtag replay. But if it is there in red in your upper left hand corner, then it's live and in real time. Love you guys. Hope you all have a wonderful whatever it may be for you. Right now, a wonderful Friday night. And a very good, happy, peaceful, calm, relaxing weekend. I'll see you guys soon. Ish, or later, ish. We never know. You know. Y'all know. Alright, y'all. I'll talk to you later. Bye.